All right, so let us start with the session, and yeah, once again, warm welcome to all of you. Hope I'm audible and all of you are able to hear me out. So thanks for joining this session. My name is Ashutosh, and I'll be talking about interview tips from a Scrum Master and an Agile coach perspective. So I'm sure many of you would have given interviews. Many of you would have many of you would have actually gone for a discussion for your interviews on an agile coach and a scrum master position, and you would have realized that you were not able to crack the interviews, or you were not able to actually go through maybe one or two rounds through the discussion. So this session is to help understand some of the problems, help understand some of the challenges which you face as a scrum master and an agile coach, and then try to answer those questions. Okay, so what I will do is I will first talk about some of the important pointers which I see when I interview people, and then I will take up individual questions. Okay, so now if you look at any interview, right? I mean, any position you're going to apply for, one of the important things is the way you have articulated your experience in the resume. And believe me, when I look at scrum master interviews, when I conduct agile coach resumes, when I look at the resumes of agile coach, there is a fundamental disconnect I see between the job for which you are applying and what you have written in the resume. Okay, so this is the starting point where the rejections start happening. So what you have written in a resume could be vastly different from what you are actually supposed to play. So most of the resumes, just to let you know, 70 to 75% of the candidates get rejected in the screening phase itself, because the way they have written in the resume is not what a scrum master or an agile coach does. For example, you will write typical activities of a project manager, right? You're managing a team of 100 people, 50 people, 60 people. That is what you write in your resume, right? Which is not what a scrum master does, right? A scrum master does not manage the team, or an agile coach does not manage a team. A scrum master or an agile coach predominantly works to coach the team, right? So you're supposed to coach the team, you're supposed to guide the team, you're supposed to mentor the team, right? That is what is one of the fundamental disconnects what we find in the resume. The second thing is resumes are an exact copy paste. So what your friend has written, what someone else has written, you do an exact copy paste, or you copy paste the project manager resume. And what you do is once you copy paste a project manager resume, you just replace the title of a project manager with a scrum master. Obviously, anyone can make it out. Anyone can make it out that this is not a correct resume, or this is not something which actually is reflecting your role as a scrum master or an agile coach. Okay. Also, too much of content in the resume. I see resumes going into 11 pages, 15 pages, 20 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages. Believe me, irrespective of your experience, whether you are a CEO of the company, whether you are a fresher, your resume should not exceed, ideally, if you ask me personally, this is my opinion, it should not be greater than 2 pages. 2 pages is enough to showcase your highlight, right? So if your resume is more than 2 pages, believe me, no one will have time to read through the resume. Okay. In fact, I know people who have 25, 30 years of experience whose resume is in a single page, because you don't have to publish a book there. You have to document in 1 or 2 pages what exactly you have done in your career. The interview is the place where you will showcase your skills, right? Interview is the place where you can talk about your journey, right from your graduation till the place where you are right now. Interview would be a right place for you to showcase that experience, right? Rather than putting everything in a resume and making that resume for 10, 20, or 15 pages, that does not really make sense, if you ask me personally. And there is a lot of inconsistency in the data. For example, people will write that there could be an organization overlap, there could be a role overlap, which you are unable to articulate in the interview. Lot of spelling mistakes. Yeah, I mean, be careful of those things, right? Be very, very careful. I mean, you might think that are these really important? Yes, they are important. They are definitely important from a way you're going to put forward your case to the organization. So the first major bullet point which I wanted to highlight here was that the way your resume is articulated, whether it is for a project manager, scrum master, or an agile coach, it has to reflect the role. It has to clearly reflect what role you're performing and what are the activities you are doing. For example, as a scrum master, I will never manage a team. I'm always going to coach the team, right? And if you write words like managing the team, preparing a 2-year plan, obviously people know that you're not playing the role of a scrum master. It is a fake resume. People know that, yes, you might have written some things there, but in reality, you're not playing that particular role. All right, moving ahead, let's come to the second important point, the actual discussion. The actual discussion, when it happens, what are the challenges we face? So one of the fundamental challenge we face is because you have written something in a resume, you are unable to defend that in your resume. Because you have not played that role, right? You have not actually played that role. So you're unable to defend that in your resume. So this is one important thing what you will see, right? You're unable to articulate. Remember, even a small full stop, a comma is very, very important in the resume. Those are the elements which are very, very vital and important in your resume. So if you make a mistake there, if you actually make a mistake there in articulating, it is going to create a problem, right? It is going to create a problem is what you will be seeing. Okay, so that is one more important thing we need to understand, that am I able to articulate? Am I actually able to articulate what I have written in my resume? Or is it something that I have written, but when questions are asked on that, I am unable to talk about it? For example, you might have written that I helped the team. So they will ask you, what do you mean by helping the team? What exactly do you mean? When you say helping the team, what exactly do you mean by helping the team, right? How do you coach the team? Or what are the top 2 or 3 coaching techniques what you have for your team? So those are the things they will be expecting you to answer. So this is where you'll have to detail it out. That one sentence in your resume has to be put forward in a story. It has to be put forward in a conclusive story around it. Too much harping on qualifications and certifications, right? I mean, yes, I've heard this, that, you know what, I have done certified scrum master, I have done PSM, I have done agile coaching certification. Yes, that is okay. Everyone does it. Even I have done it. You have done it. Every other person in the world has done it. But how have you contextualized that knowledge to your working area? That is important. Have you applied any of those techniques into your project, and what results have come in? What are the success stories which have come in when you applied those techniques into your project? That is what they're looking to hear. Which coaching technique have you applied to make your team self-organized? Right? Tell us your failure story. That is also very, very important. It is not just about success. As a team, what has been your failure story? And as a coach, what has been your failure story? That also is something which is the organization is interested to understand, because only then they will come to know how as a coach you are, right? As a coach, are you really playing the role of a coach, or is it just a command and a control mindset which you have, where you're directing the work to your team members? So that's another important area from your discussion which will be there. Harping too much on certification and less on contextual knowledge. Of course, the third one is everyone faces too frequent job changes and you're unable to justify the reason. This is something which I feel every individual will have to uniquely identify, that how do you justify the reason of too frequent job changes? And last but a very important pointer, providing theoretical answers. So you actually are just mugging up something from the Scrum Guide. You're mugging up something from, let us say, the literature which is available, right? So you end up just mugging up the things, and then you start articulating those things, right? I mean, you don't have, you're not articulating the real practical experience, right? Or how did you contextualize the knowledge, right? So those are some of the important elements which come in from the actual discussion perspective. So when you're discussing this, this is how you will have to articulate yourself, right? Gone are the days when you could just say that, okay, I know the 5 values of the Scrum. I know the 3 pillars of Scrum: transparency, inspection, and adaptation, and that's it. And I know the 5 values, the FORCE acronym. I know the 3 roles in a Scrum team, 5 events, etc. Gone are those days. You have to contextualize your knowledge. You have to make sure that how was this knowledge applied in the Scrum team, whichever Scrum team you're coaching as a Scrum master, how was this knowledge applied? So that's the next element of what we have. Another important thing, you have to create your own story. So each story has to be unique. As I said, each one of us would be certified. Each one of us would be a CSM. Each one of us would be a SAFe certification. Each one of us would be a coaching certificate, having a coaching certification. But what is important is what is so unique about me. Why I, as a Scrum master or an agile coach, is a better person to fit into this role. That is something which is very, very important for me, right? What is so unique about my story? As I said, contextualize your work, career experience to the interviewer, right? Don't just blindly say what is written in the guidebooks and all. How have you contextualized that knowledge? So if it is estimation, what challenges I faced in story point estimation in my team, right? Or in this engagement, or if it is story writing, how did the invest model, how did I have to work on the invest model to work along in my team, right? Or what are the challenges I faced in the invest or the spider model when I was applying them in my team? That is something which is very, very important. Also take real-time examples. Real-time situational examples is what you will have to take when you're articulating. For example, if the interviewer asks you, tell me a failure story, don't give a success story. Don't try to say that everything is good in your team. That is never going to happen, right? I mean, we all know not all the days are good. So take real-time examples. Of course, you're not supposed to reveal the client names, I know, but you can always give some names to it. You can always say it was a financial organization, it was a manufacturing organization for which we are implementing an IT solution. That is what they are more keen on knowing. Okay, and talk about your vision as a future. How do you see yourself growing in the industry? What are the things you are going to work upon, or what is a foreseeable future what you see about yourself? Okay, so basically those are some of the very, very important pointers, or those are very, very important, I would say, some key points which I'm trying to give. Just wanted to let you know that I have a special channel where I have all these tips listed. It has got interview coaching tips and techniques. So there's a YouTube channel which is there, which I have. I would request all of you to subscribe to it. If you have not yet subscribed, there are almost 80 plus videos on various topics on agile and coaching which are available there. Do subscribe to the channel and watch some of these videos, because these things are also highlighted in detail. I have picked up a topic and talked about it for 5 to 10 minutes, or some videos are also 1 hour videos which are there, which actually talk about the story on the agile transformation. So say your story. You have to build your own unique story and work towards it. Okay, the next important point I wanted to also talk about is that when you go for an interview, right? When you go for an interview, okay, there are some things which you have to keep in mind. Okay, there are some other additional things what you have to keep in mind. So first of all, I think some points I've already highlighted before, right? That 70% of the resumes are getting rejected because these are just copy paste from a project manager, delivery manager role into a scrum master or an agile coaching role. The second important myth is certification equal to jobs. Just because you become certified doesn't mean that you will get the job. Certification will just give you the knowledge. What is needed is a real-time experience. So you need to demonstrate a real-time practical experience which you bring on the job, and you have to articulate that story, is what I told you. Another myth, I know tools, so I know agile. No, that is a myth. Tools are just used to automate the processes. But you cannot make a blanket statement that because I know ABC tool or a XYZ tool or a DEF tool, I am agile. No, that is one of the major myths which has been propagated, that if I know this tool, I have become agile. No, you can be you can be working in a waterfall project and using any of these tools, which we think are agile tools, right? I'm not naming any tool here, but any tool you take, which you use in your current sprint, That can also be done in a waterfall project. So there's nothing unique about that tool being agile. Okay. So learning tool will just help you to automate some of the manual and laborious tasks, and things will be faster, right? Otherwise, it is a no indication that it is a agile. It is a proof of you having the competency of agile. Then not everyone is having the, I would say, the aptitude of a scrum master or an agile coach. Just because my friend has become a scrum master or an agile coach doesn't mean I will become a scrum master and an agile coach. That copy paste again, what I'm trying to tell, right? I could be a very good product owner, who knows? I could very well turn out to be a good product owner, or I could turn out to be a agile delivery lead also, right? I mean, there are a lot of hybrid openings also in the market today. Not everyone has to become an agile coach or a scrum master, right? Of course, if I have the aptitude, I should definitely go for it. But if I don't have an aptitude, I can always try out different options which are there, right? And last but not the least, as I said, memorization will not help here. Any interview you go for a scrum master or an agile coach, memorization is not going to help. You need to demonstrate a clear-cut understanding of scenario-based questions. You will be given a lot of scenario-based questions. There will be a case studies. Many organizations are giving case studies nowadays. You have to work on that case study. You'll have to understand what situational problem might be thrown at you, and then you'll have to work towards solving that situational problem. So they're more than the right solution, they're looking for what approach you are taking. What is the situation? If you are a scrum master or an agile coach in that situation, what approach you are going to take in order to solve that problem, right? Just memorizing the theoretical content is not going to help out here. Okay, yeah. So this is what I wanted to talk with to begin with, and then of course I will open up the floor for Q&A in a moment. But just wanted to let you know that I do have a program which helps people to help crack these interviews and discussions. I have two options available there: a 9-hour option and a 18-hour option. So a total of 1.5 hours each session we cover, and then what we do in that session is we actually try to identify your weak area. Okay, so we do a detailed profile analysis. So let me tell you what exactly we do in this session before I open up for questions. So we actually, in these sessions, we do a detailed profile analysis of each of the individuals, and then we come out with a report. We actually come out with a readiness report. So what happens is we walk you through some questions. We do a detailed job readiness assessment of you, and we tell what exactly is the overall feedback. Of course, this is a dummy report which I'm showing it to you. So we come out with a detailed report along these areas, like which areas you are stronger, which areas you're weaker. Let me show you that. Yeah, this profiling report, we come out with a detailed radar profiling that these are the areas where you are weak on a scale of 1 to 10. Anything below 7 we consider as weak area, by the way. So it has to be minimum of 8. So if I look at this profile report, if it is my profile report, it is telling me that agile fundamentals I am weak, scrum basic concepts also I am weak, coaching also I am weak. So it gives a detailed radar profiling about me. And so this is a discussion. What happens, we send you this report, and based on this we come out with a 15, 30, 45-day plan, right? These are the areas what we need to target in you, right? I mean, so this is a program which is customizable program. It is not a standard program where you have a standard course content which is created. It is a customizable program what we have. And as I said earlier, there are two options available in this. One is a 9-hour one-to-one contact session, and another one is a 18-hour one-to-one contact session, which is there, which will help you groom, which will help you mold yourself and ready from an industry. So we take a real-time coaching situation. We take a real-time case study. We talk about real-time matrix, what are required in a transformation. So if any one of you is interested to know more about this session, how it is done, Feel free to ping me one-on-one. Feel free to ping me one-on-one. I'll share my WhatsApp number also to you. It will just come on a screen in a moment, and I'll be more than happy to talk about this. So on that note, I'm now opening the floor for questions. So anyone has any questions on this, or any question, or would you like to ask anything from your interview experience, what exactly you faced or any challenges you faced? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask me any questions. So yeah, you can now unmute yourself and ask me questions. Yeah, anyone, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask me the questions. Those of you who are on LinkedIn and Yahoo, don't worry. I will YouTube. Sorry, I will come back to you with the questions what you have. Meanwhile, anyone here, if you have any questions, please unmute and ask. Yeah.
Hey, good evening, Ashutosh.
Mm-hmm.
It's Amay. So I had a question. Do you have the same session for like PMO related training? In the sense,
Yes.
the
Yes.
session that you have, is it just for like the agile space with respect to say the Scrum Master or PO, or the same concept is for project management as well?
It is for project management also. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Project management, PMO. By the way, the role of PMO is
You
also
offline.
changing in the organization. It is becoming more like an agility office. So most of the PMOs are
Hmm.
now transforming themselves into an agility office. So even an agile
Okay.
organization will have an agility office. It won't have a PMO. It is called as an agility office or agile office, as it is
Mm-hmm.
popularly called as.
Okay. I will reach out to you offline so that I could discuss further with respect to my profile then. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure, sure, sure. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions? Of course, you can connect with me later on one-on-one also. I mean, I have given my number. I've shared my number to all of you. Please reach out to me one-on-one. Anyone would like to share any experiences, interview experiences you got in the interviews? And what were the challenges you faced? Feel free to talk here. Okay. So I'm assuming there are no questions. As I said, right? I mean, you have to really go well prepared for an interview. You can't just take certification and say that I'm ready to pick up that role. Lot of investment has to go. Lot of, I would say, a lot of work has to go into it. Lot of interview preparations have to happen, and only then you can say that yes, you are ready for that interview. Now let me show you one more interesting thing, and let us see if someone asks a question in between before that. So let me show you some of the case studies what we cover. Okay, some of the industry case studies which we cover from a Scrum Master perspective. So if you are a Scrum Master, let's say you are in this transformation project where you are banking organization and it's a traditional siloed based structure. How do I convert this siloed based structure into an agile way of working, right? How do I convert from a traditional structure into a product centric organization? So if you are an agile coach in this transformation, how will you work along with the CIO in bringing about from a LOB based, a line of business based structure like retail banking, wealth management, credit card insurance? How do we convert it into a kind of a product centric organization structure? What are those business outcome matrix which we have to identify in this transformation, right? Those are the things what we cover. What is a 30-60-90 plan for the team, right? Then the coaching game. We have this coaching game. So if you are a Scrum Master in an engagement, I'm going through it. There is a video on this already. If you are a Scrum Master in this engagement, SM is a Scrum Master. And if you are a coach, how will you handle these people? How will you handle your senior management, Scrum Master, delivery head, PO? So what I'm trying to tell is this comes with an experiential learning. This is not only a theoretical session. This comes out with an experiential learning where you work along with me in identifying the real-time problem and solution to the real-time case study. Now, these are the case studies which are being asked in a Scrum Master interview, just to let you know. These are the kind of case studies which we nowadays get in a Scrum Master or an Agile coach interview. And like this, I have many. I have just showed you one sample one for the banking industry, but I have many for manufacturing, for automobile, for pharmaceutical. So those are the case studies which are there from a how to prepare for a Scrum Master or an Agile coach discussion. Yeah, anyone, any questions on this before we move ahead? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask if there are any questions. Okay. In any case, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are not already subscribed, there are a lot of interview tips which are given there. Do connect with me one-on-one. I mean, if you have any questions, or if you don't want to ask in a public forum, I can understand that. But do connect with me one-on-one. I'll once again share the WhatsApp number to all of you. And yeah, so if there are no further questions, I think we can close the session. And thanks a lot for joining it on a Saturday evening, and have a great evening ahead, right? So thanks everyone, and all the best for your career. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.